Exterior clearing. Mara pushes Trigger through a break in the trees. The tracks they're following lead to the far side of the trees where a dark figure lays on a crimson pool of red.
Shoot.
She urges Trigger closer until he tosses his head and refuses another step. Sliding out of the saddle, she walks the last few paces to the figure, the rifle held at her side. It is a calf, a massive gash down its gut, its entrails spilled across the snow. Mara drops her head, sinks next to the calf, and places her hand on its muzzle.
All go to one place. All are from the dust, and to dust all return.
She reaches to pull the calf towards her, and a low, rumbling growl draws her attention to the trees. Exterior service road, dusk. Covered by a tarp, Alex's body is strapped to the back of the snowmobile. Josiah whips the mobile up the road to where a ridge breaks off along the side. Josiah pulls to a stop and climbs off of the machine. Asher pulls behind him. They unstrap the body, pull off the tarp, and grunting, heft it off of the mobile and toss it over the edge of the ridge. Exterior highwood forest, dusk. Mara rises from her knees, lifts her gun, and tracks it across the tree line. Another rumble of a growl bounces off the trees, makes it impossible to tell where it's coming from. Trigger whinnies, tosses his head. A flash of movement flickers between the trees. Mara takes a step back towards Trigger.
Calm down, Trigger. It's just the light.
A shift in the shadow, and there's just enough light to catch a pair of eyes, amber against gray fur, watching her. For a few seconds, their eyes lock, and Mara freezes. Another snort from Trigger, and Mara reaches behind her for the reins, her eyes still locked on those in the woods. Just as her fingers close around the reins, a burst of movement explodes from the far side of the clearing. A roar tears through the air, a sound from hell itself. Trigger screams and spins. Mara grabs the saddle horn, gets her foot into a stirrup, and tries to lift herself onto the saddle. Trigger rears, and Mara is tossed back, slamming her head on the snow as the rifle flies away from her. Trigger bolts out of the clearing. Mara rolls to her stomach and spins towards the tree line. She can only make out the shadow of what races towards her. Too big to be a wolf, too demonic to be a bear, massive jaws fanged with sabers for teeth. Whatever it is, it charges towards her. She backpedals, grasps in desperation for the rifle, and then another flurry of motion launches into the clearing. The second beast, the gray one she'd seen in the trees, barrels into the oncoming attack just before it hits Mara. The force of the gray beast's hit careens both beasts back into the trees in a flurry of snarls and screams. Mara's shock stops her for only a second, then she scrambles to her feet and races after Trigger. Exterior Stroh Ranch, night. The full moon burns in the sky, brightening the night in an eerie glow. Mara rushes from the trees, breath haggard, face terrified. Her foot breaks through the crust of snow and her leg plunges knee-deep into a drift. A quick glance back reveals nothing behind her. Then an angry snarl erupts somewhere in the trees. She scrambles forward, pulls herself out of the snow until she is on the crust again. In the distance, she can see the Stroh barn. A gasp of hope and fear, and she runs faster. The echoes of the fight between the two beasts bounce off the trees behind her. Exterior highwood forest. The gray beast flashes between the tree branches, racing alongside the black beast. With a burst of speed, the gray beast veers into the black beast, knocking it off course and slamming it into a tree. The black beast rolls across the snow, then snaps to its feet and slashes at the flank of the gray beast with a paw larger than a human face. A screech fills the air. Exterior Stroh barn. Mara makes it to the fence line. A howl rips through the night. Trigger is in front of the barn, whinnying and rearing, desperate for safety. Mara makes it to the broad double door of the barn, pulls hard on it, but it doesn't move.
Damn it!
She braces and pulls again, her face tightened in panic. Trigger rears again, releases a scream of fear. Mara gives another pull and the door groans open.
Go!
She slaps her hand against Trigger's rump. Interior Stroh barn. Mara stumbles into the barn. As she pulls the door closed, her eyes widen in terror at whatever she sees crossing the ranch towards her. The door swings shut, and Mara grabs the wide beam that slides across the two doors to lock them. She slides it into place and leans back against the door. A thud hits hard on the outside of the doors. Mara closes her eyes and lets out a whimper. An earth-shattering howl shakes the doors. Mara squeezes her eyes shut and presses her body hard against the wooden beam. Then the sound of a shotgun, somewhere in the distance, followed by the utter sound of silence. Mara looks around the barn, waits, listens. 3 other horses, already in their stalls, snort and stamp their hooves, but there is no sound from outside. She turns, rests a shaking hand against the beam holding the door closed, almost starts to move it, then backs away from the door until she is pressed against Trigger.